and 20 and so on, and we took them away back there when we didn't have. Now, I said a while ago, this is the Bill Archer family. That's Bill Archer there, and Nita, and Ms. Archer, and
It's not Diane.
I don't know who that is. Maybe Diane. No, that's Diane, all right. She went up there with us, and that's her little dog. So this is the Archer family, as I said a while ago.
I think that's Lucy up there.
We went up there one time and to visit them. Now that's Nita and Leon, her brother, right there, the youngest brother. That's him. He's going out to the tractor to get on there smoking his pipe. Just so I could take his picture, I guess. So that's him there. Now that's Nita and Billy, her sister. That's way back there. He's
55 years back.
That's Billy. Now there we come. This is Bob and Charles and Bob and Nita. And I said, what'd I say? I meant Patsy and Charles and Bob and Nita. And they were just hadn't been married for a little while. And there's that Dan. He's right in there in the middle of it. And he said he didn't want his brothers to get married. He wanted to keep them at home, but they got married anyway, regardless of what he thought. I don't think they'd been married, but just a few months. Just a few months, maybe, weeks or whatever. Now, that's Bob. He's riding down to the old bicycle. And of course, Dan's trying to push him around. Now he's on it, and Charles is on the motor scooter. We got him. Dan's 6 years old there, and Charles is about 19. So Charles, yeah, that's Charles and Patsy, and they're riding their motor scooter again. Believe it or not, Bob and Nita rode that thing from Abilene.
No, that's Gwen.
Gwen, I mean.
You better
Now, that little naked jaybird, I tell you who that is. That's Dan. Now, these pictures are not in order. He was about a year, a little older there. I don't know.
He was 11 months old.
11 months old. That's our, I guess that's that 1946 model Buick that we bought. Dan, Charles turned it over with Dan and his dog. Wrecked it up pretty well. Now that's Charles and May and Dan and me. Yeah, I guess that's me.
That is you.
Don't show my face. Whoever took it, May took the picture, I guess. That's Dan and May again. 11 months old. That's been 39 years ago. She's pulling a hose around watering the flowers. So I guess she's fixed to go to church because she's dressed up, or somewhere. Got Dan his little sunsuit, and that's his little brown dog. What become of that dog, we can't remember. Got killed or run over, May said. Poisoned, yeah, that's right. And a feisty little old thing.
Like to have sure would like to.
So, that's Dan, still at him when he's 11 months old. Got a diaper on this time.
Look at that shoe.
He's trying to walk in somebody's boots or shoes, I guess is mine. There he is. If you don't fall in that water, that's Charles, Bob, and Dan.
His sand bath.
Yeah, I made him a sand place out there, sandbox out there. He and that dog played in that sandbox. Well, that's a couple there that's getting old, I tell you.
Yeah,
Bob and I have been out on the rig all day that day, and that is Miss Fairchild, a lady neighbor to us here. That's Dan some more. Looks like he's getting about all the attention here, don't it? I don't know. Now this is the Crumley boys. That's Ray and Albert and Hubert.
Maybe it's because we're...
Left to right. And that's Mr. Joe Morting and Ray and Albert and Hubert again. Joe Morting lives in Louisiana. He's 88 years old right now. These are two girls of Hubert. One of them Hubert, one of them Albert. What's his name? Verba and Linnell, and that's Miss Crumley, May's mother. And that's Hubert, young man, walking along there, oldest son. He's the oldest son. And that's Ray and his pipe. He's the youngest son. That's Albert. That's the boy just younger than May. Now that's their wives there, and Miss Crumley. That's all three of their wives, and Miss Crumley. That's oh, I noticed. That's May over there on the left. Yeah, that's Elmer. Elmer acting like he's whipping up on Charles. These pictures are pretty dim. Sometimes you can't tell much about them, but that's the Crumley family there. And we're back again. I guess at our house with with Bob and Charles and their dog. In fact, that dog was Bob's dog. Charles, I got him a pair of dogs, and Charles's dog got run over. That's an old cat we had there. That's the Crumley home down at Duel, the farm they lived on. This is Travis Dempsey and Miss Dempsey and Miss Crumley. It's Faye's son. Right there, he's about 2 years old, I guess. And that's Aunt Hawkins, Uncle Rector, and one of their grandchildren. And that's Aunt Lou and her husband. And that's Nettie Bob and Imogen. That's my sister and my cousin there. Here we're back again at our place there in Forsan. We had moved from where we was, and Dan's dog got poisoned, so we got him a new dog, called her Queenie. Now, Bob, he's fixing to go out on a date tonight. He's been working all day. He's fixing to go out on a date. He's shining up that Buick. That's about a 46 model. That's my Uncle Emmert. He lives in the Rio Grande Valley. And that is, that's some of the same. That's the dog and Dan. And Dan, being the baby there, he got most of the attention. He's pretty energetic, isn't he? Now that's Uncle Emmert and my Aunt Velma. They're fixing to leave, driving back to the Rio Grande Valley from Forsan. And I guess that's a 46 model car, 5 he's got there. Now this is down here on the middle, on the...
Up at Dolores.
Up at Dolores, yeah, excuse me. Up at Dolores, Colorado. Us and the Shaws and the Braggs, as you don't know, but all got in the car and made a trip up there. And this is what you call the Dolores Valley up above Durango in the San Juan Basin. And we stayed in that house right there. And we like froze to death. We had to pull all the cover we had and kind of sleep close together to stay warm. And that's Uncle Leonard and Grandma, my Grandma Gary. She died at about 82 years old, 83. And that is Aunt Lou's Aunt Lou's son, and that's Aunt Lou and Archie's son. So that is Leona Stroups and her daughter, and that's Dan, and that's dang, Uncle Rector, and R.G. Riley and Aunt Lou. And there's Uncle Leonard, my Uncle Leonard, and my grandmama again. Now we're getting back to home again, and that's Nita, Bob's wife, and that's down there around San Antonio. Bob was in the Army. We went down to visit him, and they took us somewhere. I don't know. I went down around Houston or somewhere, and or Brownsville, wherever we went. I don't know where we went. But anyhow, there's a lot of pictures I wasted because I thought everything was, as all those ships were good because I hadn't seen very many of them. And I wasted a lot of film on that stuff. But anyway, we have to sit through it and see the rest of it. And I can't read that, it's going so fast. I could have stopped it, I guess. That says New Orleans there. So we must have made a trip to New Orleans after we got through seeing Bob and Nita at San Antonio. And this is Bourbon Street. That's a statue, a horse out in front of a church right there. And all that stuff you're not interested in. One place there is we'll go down Bourbon Street. But, boy, I thought that was something pretty, I guess, taking all them film. That's Bourbon Street right there in New Orleans. Look at those old automobiles. Got a little black spot right here for some reason or other. Now we come on more ships again. Wish I'd have took something better than that, but I didn't. Right now, let's see, I'm going to take a pause here. Well, let's see, that's Nita again. You know, I don't remember them going to New Orleans with us. I don't think that's New Orleans. I don't know where that's at. Anyway, it don't amount to much. Now we're back again down at North Concho River. That's Dan and, that's Bob and Charles and Freevanell Short, brother and Ms. Short's daughter. We went down there on the 4th of July and had a picnic and a little outing down there. That's about all we do on the 4th of July back there then. So we went to the river and let the kids swim. Mr. R.A. Chambers used to be a customer of mine there at the store. He was along with us. Now who that guy is, I don't know. He don't look very pretty sitting there smoking that pipe. Now we're back again, and somewhere in the back of our house looks pretty trashy back there. Well, that's Hubert and Verba, their youngest daughter. They come to visit. That's Oma and Miss Crumley and J.D. Dempsey and Faye. You see right there, it's Faye and J.D. And that's Elmer Crumley and his new daughter that we all thought was something else, Shirley. And see, you can tell by look at me, I really think she's something now. This is Elmer Crumley coming out of the courthouse. Seminole, I guess, I'm not sure. Some of these pictures are signed. That's Big Spring, I think. I'm not sure, but there, look at those old automobiles. I think that's the city of Big Spring. Now, this is on highway out this side of Big Spring. I took those pictures while we was driving along, just wasting a little film. And I tell you, back there in those days, that film wasn't cheap. Now, this is a 4-cent oil field. Derricks everywhere, if you'll notice, back in those days. And that's pretty old. That must be about 40 years old, something like that. And now that's Brother Aubrey Short. He's fixing to leave. He was pastor here, and that's the front of our grocery store here in Forest Ann. And the lady, Miss Drake, walking along around. That's the barber shop. Now we're coming down to the drugstore, and down here is the post office. You're looking at. See those old automobiles? Maybe we're coming into something. No, this is Mrs. Bragg, and they're her first daughter. So they got 3 daughters, I believe. And that's the first one. So they lived here at Forest Ann, good friends of ours, and we traveled around a lot, visited a lot, all belonged to the same church and what have you. So that's the dog, and that's May there on the left. They just come from church, is the reason they're dressed up. And that's Jimmy Smith and Kay Braggs. Braggs is her first daughter. And that's the flowers May had down there when we lived down there in Forest Ann. That's May and Mrs. Smith, Mrs. Glenn Smith. And we visited a lot, and that's me, and look like, I don't know. It's going so fast I can't identify them. But anyway, that's Brother Reams, and that's the 2 Monroney girls. As our pastor here at that time, who that goon is, I don't know. Somebody following him behind him. Now that's Bob and his dog. He's carried him in that basket. Now he's got him. He puts him on his back. You notice. So that's Bob and Shirley. Charles will come in there in a minute. There he is. So we'd bought a new piano for the boys to play, and of course you know how they boys play. Anyhow, they set her up there, and they think she's about the only thing they ever saw. They're real proud of her. We lived in the store there, behind the store there, in a house we drug up there and patched on, so we'd be there close to the store. And these are the 2 boys and Shirley Crumley. There we are. There's the family, along with Shirley. Well, Charles hadn't stuck his head in there yet. There he is on the left. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, there he is. Oh, they was something in those days. They kind of took care of themselves. May and I had to work the store and run that all day long, and they kind of lived their own way. Tried to keep them clean and take care of them the best we could. Now that's Ray Crumley and Mr. That's Ray and Albert and Uncle John Saunders. There's Mr. Crumley and Cliff Crumley, Hubert's son. There's Ray. They were trying to crank that old Model T Ford. Mr. Crumley again. These are 50-year-old films. That's Essie and Francis. They just married, and they're going to put on a love scene for us out here. How about that? Mr. and Miss Crumley, we prize these pictures because they've been gone a long time. Mr. Crumley died in 1942. This is Verba and Linnell Crumley. And May's favorite nieces. Now these 2 of you Crumley boys, Albert there, and Albert there, and Hubert on the left. And they don't smoke. They bummed a cigarette off me, and they lit them up, and their wives are after them about it. So that's Laura and Cliff on there too with them. And that's Nevella, and that's Addie, yeah, Addie Crumley, Ray's wife. That's May, and I don't know.
Jimmy.
And that's Mr. Crumley,
It's Jimmy.
May's daddy there. He's trying to make that dog smoke a cigarette, and he don't like it much. Now we've got a horseshoe game with Charles. And there comes Ray again out of his Model T, and Uncle John Saunders is May's uncle.
Mother's brother.
Uh,
Mama's brother.
Her mom. Now this is my daddy and my stepmother. They live down there at Roscoe, Texas. That's the only picture I've got of him. And her. That's Bob and Charles there with them, and they're having a big time there. So this is Bob and Travis Dempsey. Bob has got he works in the store some.
He stocked.
He stocked, yeah, he was a stock boy. And so there's their doghouse they built right there. See it? Those two boys built that for their dog. And it's kind of trashy place. Now that's Travis Dempsey and Faye's little boy. And it was a cute thing. Now he's about 6'4" and about, I'd say 45 years old. And there they are again. And this little neighbor boy there with them playing. And that's Bob and Charles, the dog. That's a little neighbor boy. Felix Roberts, yeah. This was out on a ship out here. Brother Short, his wife, and May and I went to the coast, and we got on a boat and went out fishing. Brother Short got sick out there, seasick, and I wasted some film there on this boat I was taking out. This is a little fascinating to me because I hadn't seen very many of those in my lifetime. And I had the picture machine, so I just took the picture. And that's Brother Short. And then we come back to San Antonio, and I wasted some more film on the Breckenridge Zoo down there in San Antonio. It's Miss Short, May, and Brother Short, some grapes. He reached up there to get some grapes. And there comes May feisting off up through there. And I got her picture. Can't hardly tell who she is. And Miss Crumley and Lure walking out their front door there at Dew, where they live there on the farm. There's Miss Short, Brother Short, and Mr. Crumley out there. That's Charles and Bob. Now, we'd left them there about a week, 10 days, and they was tickled to death. That's Brother Short pitching Charles up. He was our young pastor here at that time, back in about 30-something, 36, something like 37, long in there. 36, 37, 38, I think he's here. And Bob and Charles dressed up for church. That's about the only place we went. Now, here's something you might enjoy. This is a boxing match between Bob and Nolan Shaw. Now, you can be your own referee about this. It always tickled me to watch this because they really got after it. I don't know whether they're having any fun or not, but I tell you what, I had some fun watching it, and I had fun watching it on this film every time I saw it. That they go a full round there. Yeah, that's fun. That's a friend of Bob's that lived here at Forest, and that's May and I. I don't know who's taking SC's taking the picture. Yeah, that's the little junky house we lived in behind the store, and that's SC coming. I tell you live like that back there in the days of the Depression. Makes you feel good when you got something fairly nice to live in. That's May. Now then, we've come into something right here that it's going to waste your time, but we've got to show it because they spliced it on. I don't know how to cut it out. But we've got a little bit of show in behind this, and we'll just sit here and watch this through, and I don't know, maybe I could tell you a few stories during this thing if you want to listen to me about our life in Forest Sand. we got married in 1929, and during the Depression hit us the next year. We worked for Exxon Oil Company, worked for them until 1933, and I quit. We moved out of Forsan and went down and stayed at in her uncle house and rented the pasture from him and put some cows on it. We stayed down there through 1933 and part of 34, and we had a little money we'd saved up in a annuity program with the Exxon or Humble, and so we put a little store, moved the building in next to the schoolhouse over there. Name of the school was East Gansel, and we put this store in there and got just a little bit of experience on how to operate a store. So I operated that about, I guess a year. And then a friend of mine called down there where we was. He lived at Forsan and told us to come to Forsan. There was a grocery store for sale. We might want to buy it. So on Sunday, then we we got in the car and come up here.